What if I told you that one man's curiosity could change the course of human history forever? A man who was threatened with torture, forced to deny his own discoveries, and yet, his truth survived. This is the story of the rebel scientist who dared to prove the church wrong, Galileo Galilei, a name that echoes through centuries. But here's what they don't teach you in school. Before he revolutionized science, he was a college dropout struggling to make ends meet. So how did a broke mathematician become the father of modern science? In the next few minutes, you'll discover the inventions that changed warfare, navigation, and our understanding of the entire universe. But first, we need to go back to 1564, Pisa, Italy. February 15, 1564. While the world mourned the death of Michelangelo, a child was born who would paint pictures not with brushes, but with mathematics and starlight. His name: Galileo di Vincenzo Boniuti de Galilei. His father, Vincenzo, was a musician and mathematician who taught young Galileo something dangerous: to question everything. But there was one moment in church that would spark an obsession lasting decades. Want to know what it was? Picture this: a teenage Galileo, bored during a church service, watches a chandelier swing back and forth. While others prayed, he noticed something extraordinary. No matter how big or small the swing, it took the same amount of time. Using his pulse as a timer, he discovered the principle of the pendulum. This simple observation would later help create accurate clocks, revolutionize navigation, and save thousands of lives at sea. But Galileo's father had other plans for him. He wanted him to become a doctor. There was just one problem. Galileo hated medicine. He was obsessed with mathematics. So he did something radical. He dropped out of university without a degree and started tutoring mathematics to survive. A failure in his father's eyes, but fate had other plans. By age 28, he became a professor, and that's when the inventions started flowing. His first creation, a device that would make him famous across Europe and change warfare forever. Galileo invents the geometric and military compass. This wasn't just any compass. It could calculate interest, determine the caliber of cannonballs, and help soldiers aim artillery with deadly precision. Armies across Europe wanted it. Money started flowing in, but Galileo wasn't satisfied. He heard a rumor about a Dutch invention that could make distant objects appear closer. Within 24 hours, he would create something that would let him see what no human had ever seen before. Using just a description, no blueprints, no prototype, Galileo built his own telescope. But here's the genius part. While others made 3x magnification, Galileo pushed it to 8x, then 20x, then 30x magnification. He became the first human being to see Jupiter's moons, the phases of Venus, and the craters on our moon. But one discovery would put his life in danger. The church was watching. Through his telescope, Galileo observed 4 moons orbiting Jupiter. This was revolutionary. If moons could orbit Jupiter, then maybe, just maybe, Earth wasn't the center of everything. Maybe Copernicus was right. Maybe Earth orbited the sun. This idea was heresy. The church taught that Earth was the center of God's universe. Suggesting otherwise meant challenging divine authority. But Galileo had evidence, and he wouldn't stay silent. What happened next is shocking. But before the storm hit, Galileo invented another game-changer in 1593, the thermoscope, the world's first thermometer. It measured temperature changes using water and air. Medicine would never be the same. He also improved the microscope. Discovered the law of falling bodies, proving that objects fall at the same rate regardless of weight, and established the foundations of modern physics. But his biggest battle wasn't scientific. It was political. The Roman Catholic Church officially declared that the Earth orbiting the sun was foolish and absurd in philosophy. And formally heretical, Galileo was ordered to abandon these views. For a while he obeyed, Then in 1623 a friend became pope. Galileo thought he finally had protection. He wrote a book comparing the two systems, Earth-centered versus sun-centered. It became a bestseller, but he made one fatal mistake. In the book, the character defending the Earth-centered view was named Simplicio, meaning simpleton. The pope was furious. Had Galileo just called the pope a fool, in 1633 at age 69 Galileo was summoned to Rome for trial. The Inquisition threatened him with torture. His books were banned. He faced a choice: maintain his truth and burn at the stake like Giordano Bruno, or recant everything. What would you do? On June 22, 1633, kneeling before the Inquisition, Galileo officially denied that the Earth moves around the sun. He was sentenced to house arrest for the rest of his life. But legend says as he left the courtroom, he whispered, "Eper si muove," and yet it moves. Broken, defeated, not even close. Under house arrest, blind and aging, Galileo wrote his greatest work. A book that would lay the foundation for Newton's laws of motion and modern physics. Two New Sciences, published in 1638. It covered kinematics, the strength of materials, and the motion of objects. Smuggled out of Italy, it became his legacy. On January 8, 1642, Galileo died. The church refused him a proper burial in consecrated ground, but here's the beautiful irony. The same year Galileo died, another baby was born in England. His name, Isaac Newton. The torch had been passed, but the story doesn't end there. Today, the Galileo spacecraft has explored Jupiter. The Galileo satellite navigation system guides millions. His method, observation, experimentation, mathematical analysis, is the foundation of all modern science. In 1992, 359 years after his trial, the Catholic Church officially admitted they were wrong. Galileo was right all along. His inventions, the telescope, improved compass, thermometer, microscope improvements, and pendulum clock design changed everything. Galileo's real invention wasn't a device, it was a method. The scientific method: question everything, observe carefully, test your theories, let evidence, not authority, decide truth. He was called a heretic, a rebel, a troublemaker, but today we call him a genius. His crime, telling the truth. His legacy, teaching us that truth always wins, even if it takes 350 years. So here's my challenge to you. What truth are you afraid to speak? What established wisdom needs to be questioned? Galileo changed the world with curiosity and courage. What will you change if this story inspired you? Hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, the next time someone tells you that's impossible, remember Galileo. Because sometimes the biggest discoveries come from simply looking up and asking, what if?